Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Uh-oh, somebody has a case of the Mondays. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Boom. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. That's at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. I, of course, as always, am Edward Raus. That's at Edward Raus at all your favorite social media platforms as well. Shout out to all of you who like my videos and give funny comments and have a good time with me on there as well. I rather enjoy it, if you will. What I don't enjoy is two clearly rebuilding teams playing a Monday Night Football game. Yes, you are joining me tonight for the Green Bay Packers at the Las Vegas Raiders of Oakland, of Los Angeles, and Oakland. It is currently 3-0 in favor of a Carlson field goal. And not much to talk about, really. Kind of like they are who we thought they were.
But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Of teams. I definitely took Green Bay and the money line. Didn't feel too confident about it. However, I did take the under. And I'm feeling very, very confident in that as it stands. With 9 minutes to go in the second quarter, the 3-0 of a 44.5 Vegas put. I mean, come on. That was easily an under in my eyes. So I took it. Just the matchup, everything, just don't believe in Jimmy G. Adams, is his shoulder okay? On the other side, no Aaron Jones for the Packers. Yes, Love has put up fantasy points, but the offense still really isn't humming. Will they get Christian Watson going? We don't know. And it's kind of turned out to be that type of game. So I put way more on the under than I did the actual Packers money line, but I did get Packers money line at plus. So I felt pretty confident about that as well. So looking good. I will say that we have, and I mean a banger of a show tonight, as we always do here on Monday Night Rants. Joining me as always, he'll be here throughout the show, your favorite lovable teddy bear, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Of course, he'll be on for What Say Ye Heavy T later on. He'll be giving us updates on what's going on in the baseball world as we are in the second rounds of the MLB playoffs. Every team or every series were sweeps in the wild card rounds. I want to say first time that's ever happened, but this has only happened for like 2 years. So there you go. So little surprising that my Rays are out of it, but I still got my Braves pick, which is the favored pick, although they lost to the Phillies game 1. So there's that too. The Braves are up right now. An Austin Riley 2-run home run. The Braves have the lead, so looking good. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're up 5-4 now over the Phillies to try to earn things. And the Dodgers just looked out of sorts. Woo! Sorry, Dodgers fans, but you're looking like the Raiders right now. Clayton Kershaw just not looking good. And like I said, I don't think they had the team to actually win the World Series this year, especially going up against the Braves. It's just or even the Phillies. If the Phillies somehow won this series against the Braves, they have to go. It's just not the year for the Dodgers. I think the best is behind them, and they're going to maybe go through a little bit of a rebuild depending on what they do. Free agency is going to be really crazy this year. One of the biggest, craziest free agency years we ever had. We got Juan Soto and Ohtani on free agent. Literally I would argue, 2 of the best 5 players in baseball are going to be on in free agency this year. So it's going to be absolutely wild. You know what was wild? The Red River rivalry. Did you all watch that? If you don't remember, well, me and Heavy T had a little bet on that game. I took Oklahoma and the points. He was really confident in his Texas Longhorns. Well, Turns out Heavy T should probably stop betting against me live on the air because I'm 3-0. That's right, your boy. Gotta feel bad when they win. I was like, man, at least give him one. But sure enough, it's a costume party. Not sure what he was going to make me dress as, a cheerleader or something. I have no idea. But Heavy T, and I'm going to have him be on for almost the entire show because it's going to be awesome. He's no eating pickles, no drinking pickles. He literally is going to be dressed up as a pickle in a pickle costume the entire show, giving you fantasy advice, betting advice. It's going to be a hoot. So we'll let you know on socials when that's going to happen and how that's going to play out, but it's going to be a fun show. I guarantee it. If you're not right now, you're watching this, don't forget to get on the Bettercast app, which is happening right now. You can see I am in it right there, answering live questions. There's one there. Will the Packers score a touchdown in the first half? I'm going to say probably not at this rate, but I'm going to take the yes because I get a little bit of bonus points. You never know. A pick six, something could happen. There's still 6 minutes left. I want to go ahead and say yes, and I get my question in. You can see it right there, the Bettercast, a beautiful app we do here at the Better Sports Network. It's free to play. You win tickets. You can win jerseys, all signed helmets. Just so much fun. I do it every game. Hit that fun button because it's just fun to hit. So I recommend you check it out as well. That's Bettercast. Bettercast.app. Okay. Normally I do a rant lines, but like I said, we have a jam-packed show tonight because not only do we have Thomas Stevens coming on for Rants on the Street, also joining me, NHL starts tomorrow. The puck drops tomorrow for the NHL. And my boy, you've seen him on the show before, Adam Bernard. That's right. The best handle in all of X, at Pucking Thoughts, is going to join us for a little hockey preview about betting, some over-unders on teams, who's going to win the MVP, who's going to win the Stanley Cup. I'm a Ducks fan. I follow the Ducks, but not really into hockey, and I want to kind of bet a little bit more this year, so I'm excited to bring him on to talk some hockey. He'll be on as well. Like I said, what say ye, Heavy T? We're going to have a little bit of Case of the Mondays, a lot of Case of the Mondays after yesterday. And, of course, I hate to say this, we already have Guillotine loser. Our boy, fadeaway threes. And he has Justin Jefferson on his team. Has been eliminated. So a eulogy from Heavy T as well for our boy fadeaway threes at the end. We keep on ticking along in this league, and it's been a lot of fun. Here are some things that I learned from week 5. Okay. This is kind of like my rant lines. I'll talk about injuries too, but I really want to talk about like 5 things that I really learned after week 5 of the NFL. We're already almost 1/3 through the season already. It's crazy. This whole year has been, I just remember I was at New Year's Eve party like last week. And here we are going into week 6. Absolutely insane. Here's one thing I learned. As much slack and much crap that we on the show gave Nathaniel Hackett last year and how bad the Broncos were, Nathaniel Hackett greater than Sean Payton. It's true. Nathaniel Hackett had the last laugh. Not only did he play a Denver team without Aaron Rodgers, with arguably the worst starting quarterback maybe in the history of, I don't know, NFL starting quarterbacks, but they have no one else. They got Trevor Siemian. Get out. Not Trevor Siemian. Get out of here. It's going to be a very interesting rest of the season for the Denver Broncos and what they do, because this is pretty much the same team they had last year. Yeah, they have injury problems with Javonte Williams, but look at McLaughlin coming in out of nowhere and putting up numbers. The team's just not good. The defense is miserably good. Sean Payton has arguably started the year worse than Nathaniel Hackett did last year. Oh, they have a comeback win against the Bears? Hey, Heavy T, we got some Bear slander in there. It's just not good. It's just not. So you have to look at it like this. Nathaniel Hackett won. He had a worse quarterback. I mean, Russell Wilson's better than Zach Wilson, right? He has worse receivers. I would say Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton is better than Garrett Wilson and a band of Aaron Rodgers misfits. Yeah, he has Breece Hall, and Sean Payton has Javonte Williams. But you also got to remember, Sauce Gardner got hurt in that game. The defense, the cornerbacks, the starting cornerbacks for the Jets were hurt, and still Sean Payton couldn't find a way to win against the Jets, the lowly Jets. So what I learned is Sean Payton is a worse coach than Nathaniel Hackett. And probably the best meme ever, the Jets had something to say about this too. When you lose to the off-season champs, that's right. Look at that. That has to be the worst movie ever made in the history. And quite possibly the Kevin James, Sean Payton movie. Not only was it like the worst movie, probably sports movie ever made, it was the most unnecessary movie ever made. There's no reason to make that movie. It's terrible. So shout out to the Jets for having fun with the Denver Broncos, and deservedly so, by the way, if I might say. Another thing I've learned after yesterday was this, and it's plain and simple. The Bill Belichick era, dynasty, it's over. And I had to say, I think it was more Tom Brady than Bill Belichick. I mean, look at this. Mac Jones is not it, y'all. How many times are we going to do this? Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi. And neither one of them are good. Their offensive line is terrible. Ramondre Stevenson can't even run more than 2 yards. Devontae Parker plays every other game because he's always hurt. I don't know why Juju Smith-Schuster went there. The best receiver's been Hunter Henry. Judon's out for a long period of time, probably the year. If I were them, I would tank, because just tank for a quarterback. Tank for Drake May. Do something. It's really upsetting. You've lost the past 2 games by a collective score of 72-3. 3! Patriots are good. Mac Jones not good. And Tom Brady was the reason the Patriots had dynasty, not Bill Belichick. That's what I learned this weekend. What else did I learn? Well, the greatest show on turf is no more. That was the Kurt Warner, then Mark Bulger, that's a name, with the Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and Marshall Faulk years. We now have a new one. It's the Miami Dolphins. They now have the record for most yards to start a season. They beat, obviously, the greatest show on turf. And obviously, they have grass in Miami, so I don't know what they call them. The greatest Dolphin show since Ace Ventura? I don't know. That has a ring to it, doesn't it? Regardless, impressed with the Dolphins. Really am. And also, Devon Achane did it again. Now, he's injured today. Apparently, he has a knee injury that he played through or something. That's a little bit of a concern. But Raheem Mostert is up there. Both Mostert and Achane are literally top 5 in PPR points in fantasy. From the receiver side of it, you could have started, and you could have had Waddle, Hill, Achane, and Mostert in your starting lineup, and it would probably be 5-0. Well, Love, good news, guys. Love threw a touchdown pass to the Raiders. The curse of my cover. The curse of my cover. So it's 7-3 now. Was that that wasn't a pick six? Why do they have the ball again? Apparently I missed something there, but it was not a pick six. No. Garoppolo threw a touchdown to Jacoby Myers. Not. How is Adams doing? 1 for 12. Ooh. But Jordan Love touch or interception. They got the ball 3rd and goal here, and we'll see what happens. Not looking good for my Packers pick, but again, the under is what I was all over. So there's that as well. So what I learned is don't be afraid to stack teams that are good offensively. Don't be afraid to have 3 of these guys go at once. I have one team where I'm 5-0 that I have a Lion stack. I have Montgomery, I have Goff, I have Laporta, and I have St. Brown. And he didn't even play, and I still won. So don't be afraid to stack these high profile offensive teams, because it seems to be what's working really well this year for a lot of teams. All right. The 4th thing I learned this week, and this is probably the most important. This is going to be my new favorite thing, Heavy T. You're going to love this too. Welcome back, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is back. That is right. And right where he left off. A great game. But Puka Nacua still really involved in the offense. Puka had 7 passes for 71 yards and a TD. Puka's still going to be a thing. And a wide receiver 1 the rest of the way. This team's going to have to air it out. Air it out. And Stafford looks fine. I mean, they're going to lose some games because their defense is absolutely full of a bunch of second stringers. But we talked about greatest show on turf. This could be greatest show on turf 2.0 with Stafford, Kupp, and Puka Nacua, and Kyren Williams, but no defense at all. So I'm going to say this is going to be, starting yesterday, the Puka era for the Los Angeles Rams of St. Louis of Los Angeles. And the Braves win. So the Braves have tied the series. Just got that breaking news right now. Diamondbacks have bases loaded with 0 outs. Dodgers in trouble. The Puka era is upon us. Okay, one more. Diamondbacks up 1-0. One more, and then I'll go to a quick break, and we'll bring Tom Stevens on for Rants on the Street. One more thing I learned, and this one goes a shout out to kind of Heavy T in a way too, is I'm going to praise Desmond Ridder. Because here's what I learned. It's not about anything else. I learned this yesterday. So I'm going to praise Desmond Ridder. Not because I think he's the best quarterback. I still think he's at the bottom tier of throwing the football. But, okay, Kyle Pitts had a good game. Kyle Pitts had a really good game, so I'll give him that. Here's what I learned yesterday about Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder, as a starting quarterback, he finally threw an interception. He's 5-0 in Mercedes-Benz Stadium as an Atlanta Falcon. 5-0. Now, what I learned is this. When he was at Cincinnati, he was 26-0 at home. That means, that's right, Desmond Ridder is 31-0 in his career playing football at home. So when I bet Falcons at home, I'm going to think about that a little bit. The dude just plays better at home. And he also plays better in black and red. That's right. So shout out to Desmond Ridder and his insane 31-0 home record playing football. Now, I don't know what his high school record was, but I'm sure he was on a high school team that just dominated like they all are. But still, that's an incredible feat. 31-0 at home from college all the way through to the NFL. So shout out to Desmond Ridder on that. And shout out to Thomas Stevens, who will be on the show after this quick break. We're going to do Rants on the Street because we got a lot to get through tonight, my fellow ranters. A lot. Wait, Tavares is here. He said, congrats to everyone still surviving the Guillotine League. Fadeaway threes is tonight's axe. I feel bad for the dude. His eulogy will also be later. Stay tuned for that. After the break, Thomas Stevens rants on the street. And hopefully, the Green Bay Packers can get back into this 10-3 game. We'll see you soon. Boom.
Like Devon Levi started off in the friend zone and now like he could possibly be wife material. So it is exceptionally hard to trust a rookie goalie in the NHL. The kid is what? He's 21. Like, okay. And he is going to the Buffalo Sabres. But we've all agreed that the Buffalo Sabres are at least a somewhat better hockey team on paper. Again, it's hard to trust a rookie goalie. We've seen future Hall of Fame goalies like, Fleury in his first year struggle, right? Carey Price in his first year struggle. It is tough for goalies to come in and have success. That being said, nobody outside of maybe a Buffalo sports fan can tell me who those two goalies on their roster are, because I didn't know until this morning, until I was reminded that it was Eric Comrie and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And I was like, okay, well, he has the crease to himself. So all he can do is lose it. That's all he can do. Buffalo is going to be a fun team to watch, which means maybe Devon Levi ends up in what I call the Martin Jones syndrome, which is a goals against average is pretty up there. Save percentage is not very good, but he's going to finish with 35 wins because he's just going to play a lot. And it's going to be that back and forth hockey. The Atlantic Division is not very good, right? There are some teams that are going to regress. So there's opportunities here for Buffalo to do well. And I think his over-under on wins is set at 24.5. So again, there's a lot of things that I may not trust about him, but as a 13th goalie off the board, and I think that is a reach at 13. I think a lot of people have him farther back than that. So he may be 13 on NHL.com's list, but you may end up and show up in your Yahoo or your ESPN draft, and they haven't ranked probably outside of the top 20. So I would have no issue as a second goalie going with Levi, because who's taking his spot? Nobody. And volume at one point, if you're in a league that doesn't penalize you for losses, if you're in a league that rewards saves and save bonuses for daily, DraftKings does, he has all that working for him. So if it doesn't work out, all right, fine. Then you can go and pick up whoever is there. But it is his net to lose. I understand the risk. I will definitely take, because that's how you win championships, right? You got to take risks to win them. If you're safe, you're going to finish, eliminated in the first round and you had a good time. Or you can try to win the championship on draft day.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants. Still a little bit of a wardrobe change, getting you ready for the big hockey conversation with Mr. Pucking Thoughts later, representing my Ducks. I can understand why Kevin Smith wears these things. They're they hide the beer belly for sure. That's
very well.
Yeah. What's going on, my friend? You had a big win over the weekend with your Pittsburgh Steelers at Better Thomas, all your favorite social media networks. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Like you said, man, we won, and that was awesome. That made my whole weekend. I didn't get to watch any UFC. Still haven't really watched the recaps.
I did not either. Yeah.
Yeah,
I do know. A long Saturday.
That's what my friends told me. They filled me in a little bit, and I did check, my DraftKings lineups and saw it canceled and saw a couple losses. So once I saw that, I just kind of tuned out. But Sunday was a good day. I did good DFS wise, and my team. Had me absolutely pissed off in the first half, and then the defense shut down the second half, and in the fourth quarter, we showed the slightest of offense. And Matt Canada still was not smiling up there in that box, but I was smiling. So.
Yeah, 17-10 win isn't much to smile about still.
But let's smile. We got a damn touchdown. How about that? Let's those don't come across very often for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Imagine if the Ravens would have actually caught those drops.
Yeah, and kicked the field goal before the half and not thrown an interception on a fade route that was supposed to be a back shoulder. Not put Lamar in shotgun on a fade route. There was a lot more
on the Ravens just playing bad than there was on it.
100%. But that's where the cookie crumbles, like you said, man.
This way cookie crumbles. It's a step in the right direction. It was nice to see a little bit of running game, even though it was mostly Warren.
Warren, man.
Yeah, Najee Harrison. I have him in a lot of leagues. I'm really worried now about that.
Yeah, it's scary. If he's not getting the touchdowns, then it really gets scary because.
But he used to get passes.
The yards with it. Yeah, in the passes. Yeah, for sure.
He's not getting anything. He's getting 10 carries for 20 yards every game. It's garbage.
And I mean, looking at it too, I was just talking to my buddy about this who has Najee. I'm like, the more Jaylen Warren does this, Mike Tomlin will pull the trigger and say, give him my best player of the ball. And Jaylen Warren is explosive. He's undrafted, yes, but he makes a play almost every time he touches the football. Mm-hmm. And so it's getting, worrisome if you do have Najee Harris 100%.
Yeah, no, I am 100% with you. And at least it was a little bit of life. You could actually take some something out of it.
I got to buy this week too. I could breathe, man.
Now, and now we look at that division and
Yeah.
we go, it's still anybody's game. No
Just
one's really run away with it. We thought it was going to be Baltimore, not really. And then the Bengals look good yesterday. And then Pittsburgh now, and the Browns had a bye, so we don't know. But it's like now it's kind of going, okay, who's going to win the division? I couldn't tell you. I think it's going to be a crapshoot the whole way through. So
typical AFC North fashion. I mean, it's just it's so funny, man. People projected, and I didn't project the Steelers to even be 3-2 right now, but it's anybody when those are how the games are. That's how the year plays out. We play the Ravens the last game of the season, and damn well that will be a just extremely significant game. And that's the way it goes in the AFC North, Penn. So I love it though. It keeps it competitive, and it keeps us on our toes. So it's good.
That's how I feel in the West as well. Although I just don't count Denver at all anymore as a real team. So
yeah, I wish my team played Denver.
Every week. Yeah, we get to play them twice still. I'm pretty excited about it.
I know. Yeah. You guys haven't played them. You guys haven't played them once yet, right?
Oh no, you would know.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be 2-2. Let's put it that way.
There's 2 more wins for sure. 1 more win.
Yeah. All right. So what we got? We got some good questions this week. We got MLB playoffs. We got NBA starting up here soon. We're gonna have the big NBA preview show as well that you'll be a huge part of.
Looking forward to that. Always love talking NBA.
And we'll bring Nick on as well for that and have a lot of fun.
For sure.
So we got tonight. What do we got tonight?
Good
stuff.
It's good. These questions are they're not bad. They make us think. So 4 NFL, 1 NBA, kind of just like last week. I'm just creeping in NBA. We've gotten some questions, but I think we should still focus on football a little bit. Creep into it.
By November, it'll be 5 NBA questions.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Number 1 though, just it's funny you kind of just touched them a little bit. Where do we have the Bengals finishing the season, record wise, placing wise? Whatever you want.
I mean, Burrow looked good, right?
Yeah.
Sure. I know who they were playing. I get it. But I mean, Jamar Chase coming out party, right?
That's what people drafted.
It's almost like they should just trade T. Higgins and not even have him come back. To be honest,
does it open up Jamar Chase?
Yeah, and he's the better receiver. It's clear, right? Yeah, but when you're spending time trying to do deep routes for Higgins and you ruin what Chase is good at, you take that away. And Tyler Boyd is more capable. And you had Trent Irwin out there doing the deep routes that T. Higgins would do and catching them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If anything, I think the Bengals could still win the division, especially with the Pittsburgh win. I don't see Pittsburgh winning. I just because of the offensive output, but I think they can still win it and make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be like what they have been, but I'm going to say this: if they should trade T. Higgins now, I know he's hurt and probably out for 3 to 4 weeks with a rib injury, but get rid of him now. Get something in return and just keep this team on going and move forward. I think that's a smart play, but I can still see them being the favorite to win the division.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll touch on the T. Higgins thing for a second. I think that's smart too. I don't know if I'm wrong, but is he a free agent this offseason?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to give him the bag, trade him now while you can get some
trade him now.
Back.
Trade him now. It just showed you don't need him. You just made Jamar Chase Justin Jefferson, if not better yesterday, without having him, and you don't need him.
For sure, I agree. But yeah, no. To the Bengals, though, I think just like you said, even when they lost the last couple of weeks, I was never counting them out. They're a team that is explosive and they can make plays at any time when they're playing their best football. And because of that, I'll never count them out. However, they do have a very tough schedule. So I will say, the Ravens and the Bengals have, one of the toughest schedules remaining in the league. The Steelers and the Browns don't. That is one of the only reasons I say the Bengals worry me a little bit, just because can they do this against tougher teams, So I don't know, but I do have the Bengals being in the playoffs still. I don't have it being at top of the AFC North. I think that will go to the Browns, Steelers, or Ravens, one of those 3 teams. But I do have them being a wild card team somewhere in the AFC that is honestly pretty open right now. Besides obviously Miami in Kansas City, the rest is pretty close together. So they should be able to squeeze in for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? You see that it's like I was really high on the Bills, and after watching that game in London, now I'm not. Like the defense, all the injuries, but it's only because of their every game, a key defender has gotten hurt. Like they're down to like nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out as well.
If you want, just keep talking because number 2 is, are the Bills overrated? So
No way, really.
yeah, straight up, dude. So if you want to just keep
Well,
going,
you mentioned Miami and the best team and Chiefs, and I was like,
for sure.
I don't think they're overrated. I think fully healthy, they're one of the best teams in the NFL, but they are losing defenders, like I said, ad nauseum. So they're gonna have to play games at track meet mode, right? And we've seen how that pans out when you play games at track meet mode, all Minnesota Vikings. You can't always win 11 games by one score. You can't.
Literally the opposite of
this year is the opposite for the Vikings, and more like I don't know if there's a Vikings question. Tell me now.
No.
And I'll save it.
There's
Okay, then I won't tell you how
it's 4 though, so we have one more next, and then we're going.
Okay, I won't tell you my thoughts on the Vikings until that question comes. Wow, that's funny. But yeah, I don't think they're overrated. I think they'll be fine. That win against Miami was big though, but I just not as sold as like a number 1 seed as I thought I was. I think they'll still make the playoffs. They'll either them or Miami will win the division. The other team will make a wild card. I can almost guarantee that, right? But I'm just not as sold as them being that team to win the division, especially when Miami is going the greatest show on turf. On us right
someone's
now.
putting up 100 yards every game.
So and it's not because I think they're overrated. It's because their defense, their star defensive players are dropping like flies.
The injury bug this year, man, has been insane. Not even just with Buffalo 100%, but throughout the NFL, it's been really, sad, honestly. A lot of injuries, man.
Concussions have been one of the biggest things. Like I was looking at the injury report from yesterday, and like some of the biggest players were all concussions. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, he's going to miss a few weeks with that hamstring issue. And they're going to say they're going to wait till he's 100%, right? But we saw, let's see here. I was just looking at it. Yeah. Wan'Dale Robinson concussion, Tank Dell concussion, Juju Smith-Schuster concussion. I don't think that was a real concussion. I just don't think he wanted to play anymore. But it's like these, I don't blame him. But yeah, it's just all these are just, it's like because of what happened to Tua last year, you're seeing they're just more strict about these rules. And that's what it is. So the injury bug has been a lot of concussions and a lot of hamstrings. Really a lot of hamstrings this year too, more than so. So that's been intriguing as well. So, and you guys got a guy with a hamstring issue that hasn't come back yet either. So after the bye, he'll be back though.
Yeah, no, and what bothers me about the injuries too is you said with the hammy and stuff like that. A lot of them are non-contact injuries, man. I'm seeing a lot of people go down on cuts and some sort of plays that's just not contact, and that's what scares you though, because that's when you really know it's dangerous.
Justin Jefferson was a non-contact.
Jefferson non-contact. Deontay, I believe, was a non-contact.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson non-contact too.
So, yeah, scary. But back to the Bills question. Overrated is absolutely wild to say. The Buffalo Bills are not overrated. Like you said, when healthy, they can beat anybody in this league. Miami, who's storming over everybody, Buffalo quieted them down and beat them. It is a divisional game, yes, but that's what Buffalo does. Buffalo, is one of those teams where you never want to take Buffalo lightly because Josh Allen and Diggs and everybody else can come out and do it. As Heavy T just said right there. I think that's a huge thing with this last week. I was big on the Jags. I put money on the Jags this week. I thought the Jags were going to win this game because they are London's home team. But
that was an away game in London for the Jags, though.
Yeah. But I mean, for me, I'm just like, the team's been there 2 weeks. They were there last year.
How is the NFL going to take away a Bills home game, one of the greatest places to go see a home game, when everyone stands, they love their team? How are they going to take away a home game and put it in London?
Yeah, I know. They wanted to give them something exciting, and the Bills only put up 20 points. So, but yeah, no. So I think that definitely played a big factor into it. And the Bills will be all right, man. The Bills are the Bills. So it's just definitely the injuries are, they're sad, but I know they do get some back, not too late in the season. So that'll be solid.
Even the Chiefs aren't playing great football, but they're winning games.
Yeah. I saw. Let me just say this too, man. I'm never the guy to call the refs out, or whatever, and I hate to be that dude, but there was a lot of stuff in the Chiefs game, man, that was very questionable. I saw some things that should have been penalties. Some just weird, weird things, man. I don't know. So the refs love the Chiefs, but I don't know.
I saw some weird things in that game too, but that's later on when I talk about Case of the Mondays.
Yeah, for sure. We'll move on to the next one. We're staying in the NFL. Number 3 with the Patriots. People want to know, is it time for the Patriots to move on from Belichick?
Yes. Sucks. It was Brady. That's when I did my 5 things I've learned to start the show. One of them was I've learned that the Patriots era was Brady. I mean,
straight up.
And Belichick doesn't look like he gives a shit. Does he? Like his demeanor. I know, but he's always looked like the evil empire or whatever. He literally now doesn't look like he gives a flying shit.
It's also okay to look like you don't give a shit when you're winning, but when you're losing, it's like it's bad.
Yeah, man. He's just like, we'll try Zappy again for the 8th time. And the defense has been terrible. The offensive line is a joke, an absolute joke. It's not all on Mac Jones. The offensive line couldn't. Ramondre Stevenson is one of the better power running backs in the NFL, and he can't even get past the line of scrimmage. Like it's
the Saints bullied up front.
Yeah. It's just the offense is bad. The quarterback's bad. We always known Mac Jones was he's a serviceable quarterback in the right system. And this isn't the right system because he doesn't have a serviceable offensive line. He doesn't have a serviceable running back who catches the ball out of the field. He doesn't have serviceable receivers that can stay healthy. Both of them, Devontae Parker and Juju Smith-Schuster, can't even play 4 games in a row. It's bad. It's really, and the defense, they lost their best defensive player in Judon for the year with a torn bicep. And they lost Christian Gonzalez, who's a great pick out of Oregon. Shout out to Oregon. Great pick, who's playing out of his mind. Now he's gone for the year. The defense is in shambles, and his press conference, everything just shows he doesn't care. Doesn't care.
100% agree. Yeah,
and it's time. It's time to move on. And if I were them, tank it. Take it for Drake May.
100%. There's a lot of quarterbacks right. You could
take it.
For sure.
Take it.
There's no reason not, man, at all.
Straight up, if you don't get 1 or 2, because Carolina's clearly, via the Bears, are getting that first pick. Like, let's be real, right? They're the worst team in the NFL, so I'm close. But you got to look at what I've seen, and the Bears and the Patriots and Carolina, they're all there. It's the worst team. Arizona's a better team than the Arizona Cardinals with Joshua Dobbs is a better team than the Patriots.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's getting to the dark hours in New England, man. 100%. I mean, I look at what's going on over there. And, it kind of reminds me of what has been going on in Pittsburgh, the whole, mediocre where you stay 500 and you have a winning record and, blah, 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 blah. And the coach stays positive and whatever it is. You cannot do that, especially when, like you said, Mac Jones is not fit there. Your O-line sucks. Your defense sucks. Your receiving core sucks. The only positive of your team is Ramondre Stevenson. And when he's not producing, you have absolutely nothing. I think you need to go get a new quarterback. You need to be a top pick in the draft for a couple years, not just this year, a couple years. Really, truly rebuild this team. You have, the ownership and even if they keep Belichick, whatever, you have the stuff to be able to rebuild it. You have, Tom Brady obviously was the recipe to success, but you are a winning franchise. I believe that they can get back to winning, but it's not with Mac Jones and it's not with Belichick, man. I think it's time to clean slate. And honestly, for Belichick's sake, I'm like,
just retire.
Exactly. If Tomlin was losing, if we were losing every season and it was just bad and, we have been mediocre, but if it was bad and it was embarrassing for him, I'd say hang it up. And with Belichick, he's, done more than Tomlin has. And I respect Belichick, honestly, more than Tomlin. So, for Belichick, I think hang it up, man. That the respect of being one of the greatest coaches of all time, in a lot of people's eyes. What you're doing right now, it's, you're old, you're old enough to have the respect, if you leave right now. But
put on your sweaty cutoff hoodie and ride to the sunset, my friend.
Get out of there, man. You go make some more commercials, maybe. Number 4, we touched into it a little bit. The Minnesota Vikings. They don't want to know about this year. They want to know about next year. They want to know who's going to be the quarterback of the Vikings next year.
Well, they're at a point now. If I were them, I would just tank for Drake May too, and that's the best situation for any of these young quarterbacks. I want to go to Vikings. I want to go to Vikings. I want to go to where Addison and Jefferson and Hawkinson. Man, they have a lot of sons. on that team, don't they? Addison, Jefferson,
Yeah,
Hawkinson's. Team's
yeah.
sons.
Madison.
Kirk Cousins. Madison. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Maybe that's other Caleb Williamson.
That's actually funny.
He'd have to change his name to Caleb Williamson in order to join the team, I guess. But, they have a lot of sons on that. Jeez, that's crazy. They're all related to Viking lore, apparently. That's a funny joke if you know Viking lore. But yeah, which nobody does except for me because I'm a nerd. I don't think it's Kirk Cousins because they're gonna if this continues the way it is, they're gonna probably want to go off of him, and there's no way they're gonna give him another guaranteed $200+ million contract again. He's on the Nordic Joke Show of record. Yes, I am. It depends on their record. If they somehow turn it back together and sneak into the playoffs, which is possible in the NFC, like really no team is out of the NFC except the Carolina Panthers. So the only team that's out because there's no way that team's going to win more than 2 games.
Yeah.
Maybe one, but if they somehow stick at the playoffs and they have a run, then he's back. If it comes to a point where halfway through the season where let's say the Jefferson injury is worse than it is, and obviously the running game needs a lot of work. Madison is not the answer. I don't think full time, and maybe you spend your draft capital on a quarterback in the first round, and then in the second or third round take a running back. There's a lot of good running backs that are kind of under the radar, like the Tajay Spears type this year as well. So you could do that and just kind of rebuild that direction because, you do need defensive help, but there's a lot of good free agents that will be there, and you kind of rebuild without Kirk Cousins kind of move on. I like the guy. I saw quarterback. He was fun. Not really. He was kind of boring. But at least I like it because, he's actually a genuine cool person. I feel bad for his weird trophy room closet that he has. That was kind of bizarre, but and his space that he had cut out for a Super Bowl trophy that'll probably never be there.
Nothing yet.
But at least he has a mannequin of himself there. That's fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, I think it will. If I had to guess, I'd say it would be a new quarterback next year.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I think that the Vikings are an interesting team because offensively they're not ready for a rebuild. The offense is there; they're solid. I think Kirk Cousins is at a point in his career where obviously, just like you said with the trophy case, he's looking for a Super Bowl, right? And especially, now more than ever getting later in his career. It's not going to be with the Vikings for a couple years. The defense needs to completely rebuild. I do know they have this underrated rookie that, I forget what his name is, but he's balling for them. I like Brian Murphy Jr. He's a good DB. But, everything else is either old or they're just really nobodies, honestly, and they're just playing because your defense is so bad. So, you go out and you get a new quarterback. Kirk Cousins finds somewhere else to play where maybe they're a more competitive team and more of a win now team for Kirk. Everybody's happy. You get a rookie quarterback that is willing to, rebuild, but still be with an explosive offense. And, that also speeds up your rebuild process because you're really only worrying about one side of the football to get back to where you need to go. So 100%, I think it's time to move on from Kirk. There's no reason that I could think of where you'd spend all that money on Kirk because then you don't have it for the defense. Go get the rookie contract and use the money for the one thing that's holding.
I'm trying to think of a Super Bowl contending team that needs a quarterback, and I can't. Like, where would
I don't know.
The Giants. The Giants.
The Giants could be interesting. It's just Daniel Jones' contract. I'm like, gosh, that's a bullet to bite to put him back up or whatever it is.
Well, it's also a bullet to bite to watch him play football. So you got to
100%.
Balance it out a little bit.
That's actually interesting. If you went to the Giants, they'd be a much better team. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and you want to stay in the NFC because the AFC is just too loaded. Heavy T's is not Jones' fault.
It also is the O-line's fault and a lot of play calling. Yeah, I agree with that.
If you met the Carolina Panthers offensive line. Miles Sanders has been terrible.
Yeah, no, I was about to say the O-line for the Carolina Panthers. Every time you watch the game, Bryce Young has like 1.2 seconds maybe to make a play or he's going down. So
screw it. Thielen's down there 5 yards down the field somewhere.
Hey, I like it, man. Thielen was my little late pick. Got him, and I mean he's been the only productive.
He's the only productive player on Panthers. Like Miles Sanders is almost laughable, droppable now. Like Chuba Hubbard. Not the bubblegum, the football player. Yeah. Literally had more points over the last 2 weeks. It's just gross.
And he's still on waivers in some leagues.
It's not going to get better. Yeah.
Yep. On to number 5. We're switching gears completely. We're going to the NBA. Kind of forgot the question real quick. Hold on.
That's not good.
5. Did the Memphis Grizzlies get better or worse this offseason with the moves that were made? Marcus Smart, Tyus Jones, those moves.
Well, we'll see what happens with Morant. And his interest, because he's suspended for how long? The first
25, right? I think
25. So like 1/3 the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Marcus Smart, good defensively. There's no offense on that team.
Yeah.
And you got rid of Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
So the Brooks Marcus Smart thing was literally Spider-Man meme to my eyes.
Yeah.
But Brooks could make a 3. I want to say they got worse. I just or the same at best, but I don't want to say the same because they overachieved last year. There's no way that team should have been as high up in the rankings as they were. And they showed it in the playoffs why they didn't belong there. And I just don't. They're worse. They're going to be worse than they were last year. I have no doubt in my mind they're going to be worse. And I love JJJ. Like, he's one of my favorite players in the NBA. But the rest of the team, with Marcus, they're going to be worse.
Yeah.
There's no way they redo what they did last year. They can still make the playoffs, sure, but they're not going to be like, what were they?
They will.
The 2 seed last year?
Yeah, not going to be the 2 seed. No.
Nah, they're going to be in that stupid play-in tournament.
I agree.
I know what we need. More tournaments.
Mid-season.
Because the one tournament to determine the champion is not enough.
Yep. Now we got a mid-season tournament to look forward to, dude. Aren't you?
I can't.
Aren't you so excited?
I kind of want to just go live and just do live look-ins on that and just talk on it the whole time. So, as we watch players you've never heard of that like get one-way contracts playing for these teams.
Yep. For these tournaments.
Oh, Jesus.
Bring back Andre Ingram. He'll be a mid-season tournament champion.
Hey, Josh Gillum is back. He says, I think the Grizzlies have the highest win total in the West, to be fair. What?
Highest what?
No way do they have the highest.
Put that down in a bet if you're that confident.
Over Denver? The Nuggets?
Over Denver, over Phoenix, over the Lakers. I think all 3 of those are crazy.
Under. No, he says he thinks they have, like when he saw. He said he thought that was kind of wild. I think he saw they had the highest. I don't think he actually is saying that.
Whoever wrote
he's
that.
Saying he thought that was kind of wild. So he's obviously a Villanova fan. So he's probably a Philadelphia 76ers fan, if I had to guess, being a Villanova fan. But Josh Gillum, that's a crazy stat. If that's the case, I'm going to go bet on that under when this show is over. That is insane.
That is insane.
No way they recreate what they did last year, especially with all the drama going around. And it's just, yeah, I just don't see it. And more on that when we do our NBA preview show. It's going to be most of the show that night.
I'll tell you right now, I think the Thunder end up higher than the Memphis Grizzlies.
I could see that 110%. Yeah.
I think
that's one team that's going up and another team that really thought they were going up, but then their identity went, wait a minute, and now they're going to go back down for a little bit. But we'll see how it all pans out in the end. But yeah, I'm with you.
It'll be interesting. I mean, they're all good teams. Even Memphis is still, a good
Heavy T says he's a top 5 team in the West.
Yeah, I definitely could see it happening. I just think the West got better and they didn't.
Okay, let's count. If Memphis Grizzlies are a top 5 team in the West, let's name them.
Denver at 1.
Denver.
Phoenix.
Would you
got to put Phoenix there.
Phoenix. Okay.
I would put the Lakers there, whatever you want to do.
Lakers?
Yeah. I would even put the Clippers there, to be honest with you. Healthy Clippers.
None of us remember what Sacramento did last year? And they got better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you got the Clippers, like I said, Lakers, and then we really like the Thunder this year. So I think that kind of puts them below, like in the top 8 to make the playoffs. But in that playoff game talk, they're not better than those teams. They're not.
Yeah. Well, I think once you go past the Thunder, they're fine.
That's it. Well, okay.
I mean, it's absolutely open.
What Josh is saying though is he needs another star. Well, they have Chet Holmgren, who's going to be playing this year, who was out all of last year, as in the Thunder, Josh. He's going to be a star. When he's healthy. Yep. That Thunder team is going to be really good. And then Poku is going to have less pressure on him.
Do not sleep on Josh.
there. Oh, yeah, and Gilliam, too. Gilliam is like, that team is going to be really good. And don't sleep on Chet Holmgren this year. And by the way, he can win Rookie of the Year over Wembanyama. He can, because he didn't play last year. I'm putting some money on that.
100. I love that pick. We just talked about that on the Better Sports TikTok, man. We like the Chet Holmgren Rookie of the Year odds for sure.
Heavy T says Holmgren sucks. Bus.
I'm not sure what the stats are right now, but I know I saw Victor Wembanyama bully him on one play, but Chet was hanging in there.
If he can hold up for 82 games, you are right. If he does, he's going to be. But who plays 82 games in the NBA? Nobody. Nobody.
I know. Say the same thing about Kawhi, Paul George, Anthony Davis.
Jeez. Real quick though, I have to go. But what's your thought on the Milwaukee, the Dame?
Obviously, I think it's Damian Lillard and Giannis playing together. They're going to be, a great team. They'll be solid. But
does it make them the best team in the East?
No, it does not. In my eyes, it does not. I think Boston is the best team in the East right now. I think that obviously was the preseason, whatever. And Porzingis is very injury prone. When you talk about injuries, Porzingis is one of the most. But they're going to be very good.
Josh is Embiid should go to the Thunder. That would be something. That's a lot of front court, though.
That's a lot of front court.
I'm with you.
They have the pieces to go get Embiid, though, if they did want to make that trade. But
I still think it's the Celtics to lose at this point, because the Bucks.
I agree. I think they're too much of a good team. I think
Holiday is an underrated player. They're going to miss him
very underrated
defensively. Dame defensively is not the greatest. The one thing that Drew Holiday brought was that defense, two-way type of player, and no Marcus Smart. So
I have to say, Heavy T,
that's a problem for Celtics. So Boston, Miami, and Milwaukee.
I think Miami falls. I don't think Miami got better. I don't. I think they lost Gabe Vincent. That's really not too huge. But they waited the whole offseason to get Damian Lillard. That was the whole game plan.
And they blew it to Milwaukee.
And they didn't get it. And Milwaukee got better. Celtics got better. I think Philadelphia obviously has
the Harden situation just drives me crazy. Like I thought really him and Embiid were
a great duo. First of all, their pick and roll is one of the most beautiful things to watch in basketball, man. I mean, it's so natural,
Yes,
but
it is.
James Harden's a troublemaker, man.
Josh is right though. He's right. The Celtics don't have much of a bench anymore with the trades that they made in their offseason.
They don't.
So that's going to be a thing.
Still do have Derek White, but get past that, not a lot for sure.
And Stat Lord, as Robin Williams is named, he couldn't stay on the court healthy anyways to play enough minutes to become Stat Lord last year, and I'm kind of worried about his shoulders. So that's defensively he was great, but we'll see what happens with the Celtics. But that starting lineup for the Celtics is going to be very, very good.
And I think also too, like when you get Drew Holiday, he's coming from the team that you're probably going to play in the semis or the conference finals. So that's huge. You got the motivation factor and the inside scoop on whatever they do over there in Milwaukee. You didn't get him from a team in the West Coast. So the team that you see frequently, your starting point guard is going to be
that may end up going out as being the smartest move of the offseason.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed when I saw that because I didn't. That was one of the one teams where I was like, please don't end up there because they will use him perfectly. So they did though. They got him. So it'll be interesting, man. We'll see.
All right, I forgot how hot hockey jerseys are. I'm sweating.
I love that orange jersey, man. Though that orange just pops, dude. It's dope.
Yeah, the old Ducks logo on there. You got the captain, Ryan Getzlaff, my boy. You know what's up. You know what's up. So it is hockey night here, but we just talked basketball and football. But hey, we're gonna have some fun with Bucking Thoughts. Hey man, go ahead and give Hoodie. You know who I'm gonna give a hoodie to?
What are we doing?
Our boy Josh Gillum here. If he's still in the chat, Josh, email me please at edward@bettersportsnetwork.com. That's edward@bettersportsnetwork.com with your size and an address. And I'm gonna throw you a Monday Night Rants hoodie your way for talking basketball with me and my friend Thomas tonight. So thanks for joining the show, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm in the giving mood. Why not? There you go. All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Looks like
of course.
Something just happened. Not sure what. Looks like a touchdown for the Packers or an interception or some sort of thing. You never know when the defense just runs to the end zone and celebrates like it's a touchdown every time. By the way, the Chargers invented that. But anyways, we got thoughts on this trade I just received. Send Kelsey and Mozart. Get Jefferson and Evan Ingram, I'm assuming. Yeah. Send Kelsey and Mozart. Get Jefferson and Ingram.
If you
10 team, 0.5, 2 flex. So
I will
type that
say if I'm so bad with his name. A-Chain, whatever his name is.
HN, yeah.
Yeah, A-Chan. I know he came out publicly and said, "Get my name right."
If I had to look at it, I'd say this was a Kelsey for Jefferson trade. The
Mhm.
Jefferson hamstring worries me now the rest of the year going forward because I think they're going to try to rush it a little bit on him, and that worries
Yeah.
me. But Kelsey got hurt too. That looked bad, and he came back, so we don't know about that. But if they were both healthy, I would take the Jefferson Ingram side of that.
I would too.
110%.
I would too.
So,
I think you got the best out of Raheem Mostert too.
Yep.
He's obviously A-Chain's injured or whatever, but I think you got the best out of Mostert too. So.
Yep. Josh, hit me up. DM me on Twitter at Edward Raus, and I'll hook you up with that hoodie, man.
Shout out, Josh.
So there you go, man. I would take the trade. I would do it. I would send Kelsey and Mostert for Jefferson and Ingram, and just hope for the best of the injury wise going forward. All right, man. At Better Thomas, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes, sir.
And,
at Better Thomas, every social platform, and like I do every week, check out the Better Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm TikTok accounts, please.
Perfect. And when we come back, I'm going to do a quick. Thanks, Derek. Keep on watching, man. We got plenty for you coming up later, by the way, my friend. Quick preview of football. We got the biggest game, I think, of the weekend was Washington, Oregon. The other games, we'll get it. Whatever. But and then we'll go right into it. We're going to have at Pucking Thoughts. That's right. Adam Bernard. We're going to talk a little bit of hockey before we see what says ye Heavy T later on the show. We'll see you after the break, my fellow ranters. Boom.
The Bears have to be one of the most inept franchises of any sport I've ever seen in my entire life. And they share the city with the White Sox, who are also inept. Like, that is how bad the Bears are. I just don't understand how you can go your entire existence and the quarterback that wins you a Super Bowl is Jim McMahon. You couldn't find anybody else.
They don't have a good history with quarterbacks, and they let him be the quarterback for a long time, too.
Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you drafted Mitch Trubisky. They were right there. I there's a lot of pain in being a Falcons fan. The Bears are one of the teams I could argue they might have it worse, and they have a Super Bowl. And when the best quarterback in the past 50 years is Jay Cutler, you have a problem.
That's so funny that you just said that. We were talking about Jay Cutler the other day, me and my friend, and I was like, yeah, he was on, because we were watching the Colorado Rockies game against the Giants, and it looked like he was behind the thing. I was, yeah, well, he played for Denver most of his career. We looked it up. Chicago let him be their starting quarterback way too long.
Here's the thing, too, is that Jay Cutler wasn't bad. Like, he was erratic. He wasn't terrible, though.
The poor man's Brett Favre.
I'm taking him over Justin Fields. I'm sorry.
I would.
But Jay Cutler led that team to an NFC title game.
Yeah.
That they lost to Green Bay. But he's gotten farther than anybody else. You want to know who the other starting quarterback was for the Bears in the other Super Bowl appearance they made? It was Rex Grossman. What are we doing out here? It was Rex Grossman, and Kyle Orton was the backup. How are you that bad? Bro, oh my God. Listen to the top 5. According to Football Reference, the top 5 greatest Bears quarterbacks of all time. Jay Cutler, number 1.
I can't believe it.
Sid Luckman, who last played in 1950, is number 2. Jim Harbaugh is number 3. Jim McMahon, the Super Bowl winner, is number 4, and he played there for 6 years. And Mitch Trubisky, is number 5 on the list as terms of passing yards go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants. Quick check-in on the game. It was a Garoppolo interception, and currently it is 1st and 10 for the Pack, trying to tie this game up. 2nd and 4 now from the 20-yard line. So just entering the red zone. A.J. Dillon, surprised to see him actually get some rushing here. He's been pretty terrible to start the year. A surprise for me, but 42 yards rushing. They look like they're going to feed him the ball right here. And he just went up again. So there you go. The under is going to hit, and I'm really happy about that. Excited, ecstatic. Christian Watson has been a non-factor, by the way. 1 reception, 6 yards. Romeo Dobbs, 0 receptions. Jaden Reed, 1 for 7. Musgrave, 3 for 13. So the passing game from Jordan Love has been not good. But they are feeding, and I mean feeding A.J. Dillon and controlling the clock right now with that. So good to see that, too, for both my bets here. We're going to do a quick, we have about 10 minutes until we're joined by our boy, Adam Bernard, at Pucking Thoughts, the best name on social media, really. Talk about some hockey. I'm excited to learn some things because I just watch my Ducks play when I watch hockey, but I'm going to get into betting hockey, and there's nobody better to do it than our boy, at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. So we'll welcome him in about 10 minutes. What a big week of college football, man. A lot of big teams going down. Some of my big losers of this week has to be Texas, a big loser, because now Oklahoma's in the driver's seat there for the top 4, right? They're now ranked number 5. They move up 10 spots. So they're a big loser for me this week. Another big loser for me is USC. I know they won, but ugly against a not good team in Arizona. The defense is in trouble. I mean, I know we've been talking about it for a long time, but that defense for USC is going to be a problem. That's for sure. Another big loser, obviously, Notre Dame losing to Louisville. Minus 11 spots. Now they're ranked 21. They're 5-2. I don't know why LSU is hanging around at 4-2 in the top 25, but they're at 22. But Notre Dame just not as good as people thought. And now they got to play USC this next weekend. 2 ranked teams. It's not even the big game of the weekend. That's right. More people will probably watch Washington, Oregon than Notre Dame, USC, because, it is what it is. Kentucky, obviously, losing the 4 spots. And the biggest loser, who shouldn't even still be ranked in the top 25, is Miami after that horrendous, and I mean horrendous, call by Mario Cristobal to not kneel the ball and then fumble it and then lose the game. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. This team has squeaked by. They were awful last year. Another one of those Oregon coaches who left Oregon to go coach for their alma mater and fail. Should have stayed at Oregon, my friend. Number 25. But my biggest loser, Fresno State. I have to say it. And I said it. I said it on the show, and I actually bet it. I didn't bet them to lose. I just bet the spread on Wyoming. I said it was a trap game. They were number 24 in the nation, undefeated, looking really good. They go into Wyoming, who upset Texas Tech earlier this year at home and absolutely laid an egg. And like I thought would happen, blew it. And I won the bet. But it just sucks that Fresno State knocked out of the top 25 for now. But Wyoming, shout out to them, 42 votes to join the top 25. So Wyoming could be the team to beat now in the Mountain West other than Air Force. It's very interesting there. But we still have Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Florida State in the top 4. Oklahoma's right there at 5. Penn State stayed put. Washington stayed put. Oregon with a bye stayed put. Texas, like I said, at 9. USC, Alabama still hanging in there at 11. North Carolina moved up 2. Ole Miss moved up 3. Louisville with the biggest jump of the week after being Notre Dame at number 14. That's not going to last. Oregon State at 15. And the rest, we'll see this weekend. So big week. Not a lot of big games as there was the last couple weeks this weekend, but I think the biggest game of the season will be, and I mean will be, this game between Oregon and Washington. This is going to be the biggest game of the college football season so far. Both these teams are they're really unstoppable right now, and it's going to be fun to watch. You have Penix for Washington, who is probably the Heisman Trophy frontrunner right now. The way he's throwing the ball at will, the offense is obviously one of the best, if not the best, in the nation for Washington. However, looking at this matchup, and right now the spread currently sits at plus 2.5. Minus 2.5 for Washington. But look at this, okay? And this is what I think the difference is going to be. You look at the Washington offense versus the Oregon defense, right? You think, yeah, Washington offense has the most yards in the country, most yards per play, number one, right? Rush yards, they're ranked 104. Okay. So they're not the best of rushing teams in the nation. Pass yards, they're ranked number 1 at 446. Pass attempt, 14. Completion percentage, all in the top 10. Check this out. Oregon's defense, yards per game in the nation, 6th overall. Yards per play, 3rd overall. Their rush defense is in the 20s in all categories. So obviously that. Their pass defense is 5th in the nation. So this is going to be the first big test for Washington against this Oregon defense. This Oregon defense is no joke. The Colorado offense is still good. And they made them look like they were high schoolers. They made most teams look like high schoolers so far. And the Texas Tech should have upset them. But why didn't they? The Oregon defense. This is going to be really on those side of the ball to see Washington play against Oregon. This defense is going to be a test. So why I give Oregon the edge and the +2.5 is this. On the other side of the ball, we just talked about how Washington was number 1 in the nation of yards and yards per play. Well, guess who's number 2 in the nation in yards? Oregon. The defense for Washington, 64th in the nation. Yards per play, 3rd for Oregon. Rush yards, 8th in the nation. Rushing attempts, rush yards per rush. Oregon, 7.1, number 1 in the nation. The Washington defense is in the 50s, the 40s, and in passing, the defense for Washington passing yards, 94th in the nation. Passing attempts, 131. You don't think Bo Nix is going to have a field day against that and keep it close to what will be a probably shootout. But the edge goes to the Oregon offense over the Washington defense. I'm taking Oregon and the +2.5. There are some other big games this weekend. Obviously, we talked about Notre Dame and USC. These are the two teams that Heavy T and myself have been saying they're not as good as we thought they are or think they are, and everyone else seems to love them. Right now, the line is actually Notre Dame is favored at home by 2.5, and I'm actually going to take USC on this one. I'm going to take USC money line. I'm going to take USC to go into to Notre Dame and all the pride and win. I just feel the line should be USC, to be honest. So Notre Dame, USC, another ranked matchup. I'm taking the money line for USC. So that's 2 underdogs. And then you got one that I love. Miami, number 25 at number 12, North Carolina. The line is -3.5 for North Carolina. North Carolina all day, every day, until the cows come home, until you're screaming from the rooftops, North Carolina. I don't even know how that goes, but whatever. I'm taking -3.5. Miami's not a good team. They snuck into the top 25. The coaching is not good. And I think this is one where they get absolutely walloped by North Carolina at home. And I'm taking North Carolina at 3.5. And then the last ranked game of the day will be UCLA fight at Oregon State. The line is Oregon State 4. Now, UCLA was the team I was all on last week, and they won the big game as the underdog, which I thought was weird, to go back into the top 25. Oregon State beat a Utah team without two starting quarterbacks, 2 starting tight ends, and 2 running backs. And Oregon State beat them not by a lot. Oregon State has a really good defense too, by the way, one of the best in the nation. They were the one team that couldn't recruit good offense, so they recruited good defense. The line is -4. I'm taking -4. Oregon State at home against UCLA. So there you go. Those are my picks for the rate games this week. The big one, obviously, Oregon, Washington. I'm taking Oregon from how I laid it down. Something has to give. The Oregon offense versus the Washington defense. That's the weak spot for Washington, and the offense can keep up with Washington's offense. The edge goes to Oregon. There you have it. All right. There he is.
Oh,
hey, we can talk hockey now. I'm ready.
I can see that. I have a Teemu Selanne jersey on, so a Finland jersey, so near and dear to your heart as well.
He is my second favorite Anaheim Duck of all time.
Second favorite. Okay. Korea, number 1? JS Jaguar?
You can't see. I got to show it to you.
Oh, is that
Ryan
Getzlaf?
Getzlaf. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's I mean, how could you not? I mean, he's a all-time franchise great.
I got something
mean-
else to show you too, actually. Hold on.
Oh, well, let me see.
Got this bad boy right here. Look at
There
that.
you go. Now that's a classic. Right there.
Yeah.
That is
It's
it.
actually an old goalie's jersey. This one's big. If I put this on, my goodness, it's like a dress. But
Apparently,
I love it.
apparently, a producer is not a fan of the Getzlaf Perry duo. So,
Oh, Tyler, what's your hockey team?
oh, that's right. He's a Kings fan. Oh, yeah, that makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah. No one cares about him. No.
Well, I kind of like the Kings in some spots this year.
The Anaheim Ducks were the first West Coast team to win the Stanley Cup. So take that.
That's true. That is very true.
All right. So the NHL season starts tomorrow. I know you just had your big FSGA fantasy hockey draft earlier. How was that, by the way? Did that go well?
That went very well. We had representation in both of the FSGA leagues, and I was very happy with how my team came out, especially considering I was trying to host a draft at the same time. So very happy with that.
Okay. All right. Nice. I never into fantasy hockey. I would try it though. So next year, if you guys are down, bring me in because this year I'm going to get into betting. So I want to get
Okay.
into it. I think it'd be fun. I think a dynasty hockey league would be fun too. I don't know if you guys do that or not, but
I would love to do a dynasty hockey league. Right now I have like one league where we do like 10 keepers, so that's as close as we get. Another league it's 2, but I have not done a true dynasty league. I would love to do it though.
hey, next year, let's do it. Let's
Let's
do it.
do it.
Why not?
Let's do
Oh,
it.
damn, be fun. Speaking of dynasty, I want to talk about my Ducks real quick. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I was one. The lottery was actually during the show. The NHL. I know Anthony's in the chat right now. He's in for sure. Bring him in too. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah. Better hockey
we-
now.
The lottery was on the show, and the Ducks had the best chance, and it went to Chicago, who always seems to get these. They got Kane that way too, and there was like a once in a generational player.
Connor
and then-
Bedard.
Yeah, and then the Ducks went 2, and they got who nobody wanted. But then I did research on him. And it turns out he's actually a really good player that's kind of under the radar. So thoughts on him? I forgot his name right now. I just had it up and lost the tab.
Leo Carlson. So he's
That's
not the guy that somebody didn't want. He's just not the sexy like Connor Bedard. Everybody, he's. I don't know if he's going to be as good as McDavid. He's probably going to be like right below him. And listen, the NHL. Not to say they're going to rig a draft lottery, but like when they have a guy like Bedard coming out, they would much prefer him go to a Chicago or a Philadelphia than an Anaheim. You could say what you want. The chips fell where they fell, and he's going to Chicago. Conveniently, only a year or two after the Kane and Taves dynasty, it was stopped being relevant. Oh no, now they're going to get Connor Bedard. Great. So with the Ducks with Leo Carlson, he kind of reminds me of like a Kopitar type. So to keep you a local, like a guy that he's going to be an anchor down the middle for you for a long time, and he may not have like the offensive numbers. I mean, he's still going to produce like a Fantilli or a Connor Bedard, but you're going to be happy with. You're not going to be disappointed with him over the long haul.
I like McTavish too. I like
Mason McTavish, yeah.
Yeah, he's looked really well or really good. So I kind of like a young, good nucleus they have there, and Fowler still for some reason. But yeah,
You got Zegras, you've got Troy Terry.
Zegras is great. Troy Terry.
John Gibson, Cam Fowler are on a little bit of the older side. You do need some veteran leadership in that room. And listen, Fowler still produces back there. He could still move the puck. So I don't know if the playoffs are on the table for you necessarily, but it should be a fun team to watch.
I'll take that. And every year we go 1-0. Every year we win the first game of the season. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. It'll be above 500 at least for one night.
Exactly. But I like what they're doing. So I like what they're, the way they're going. And hopefully in a few years it all works out and we're back to playing for a Stanley Cup and not getting beat in 7 games by the Detroit Red Wings every year.
You did have a few run of those, back in the Babcock days, but before he left to go to Detroit.
Exactly. So tomorrow night, we got 3 games tomorrow night. We'll talk about them real quick. It's Predators, Lightning, Blackhawks, Penguins, and the Kraken, who, by the way, surprised everyone last year with a great run into the playoffs against the Golden Knights, the Stanley Cup champions. So obviously it's ring night, it's banner night, it's all that good stuff there. Anything that you're betting on from like a money line or for tomorrow night's games that you look at these?
I mean, it's early in the season, so you don't have too much to go on. Vegas, Seattle was a tight matchup when they played last year. They're both similar to their makeups from last year. Nashville, Tampa, I don't really know what I'm looking at. I mean, Tampa's going to be opening the season for the first couple of months without Andrei Vasilevsky. So, I mean, they're still good enough to play well without Vasi back there. One thing I do tend to lean towards early in the season is overs, because as even the best goalies in the world, you know, when you're in practice, you're trying to test them, but you're also not trying to hurt them. So they're seeing quality shots, but they're not seeing real NHL game shots. So there's a little bit of an adjustment back to the game speed. Sometimes I've noticed, especially early in the season, goalies will give up more goals. Sometimes the over-unders are reflective of that, but if you see something at like a 5.5, I would absolutely smash the over. Sure.
Yeah, it looks like tomorrow night, I'm looking at it right now, a lot of 6.5. I think across the board. There is 1-6 for the Predators, Lightning, and then 6.5 for Blackhawks, Penguins, and the Kraken, Golden Knights, 6 or 6.5 is your highest, 6 is your lowest. So
I might take that over. That Chicago-Pittsburgh over at 6.5, because I mean, there's not going to really be much defense played on Chicago's end, and you know, I could see that being a game where Pittsburgh puts up 5, Chicago puts up 2 or 3. Yeah, I would lean over on tomorrow night's action. The other couple of games, I mean, if you wanted to take Seattle because it's going to be Vegas's banner night and all that stuff, you know, that narrative, we're like, okay, it's not like they're playing a chump team. They're playing a team that played them well and was a playoff team last year. So you could look at the Seattle money line there too as well.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, I'm gonna remember this and write those down and actually play them and see how. Let's talk about futures though, as the season's starting. Now, I know there's like the big name players. Obviously, there's the Connor McDavids but who, as far as like MVP or you know all these awards, I guess they're not MVP. They're called awards, right? You got like
so the thing with the awards is, and we were talking about this on Better Hockey Now, is with a few of these awards, you have to kind of put an asterisk that says if Connor McDavid misses a significant amount of time, because he's a perennial Hart candidate. He's a perennial Rocket Richard candidate for leading goal scorer, Art Ross Trophy league leader in points. I mean, you don't really bet on the players MVP, but I mean, like, so the problem with that is you have to look at maybe if you're going to make a bet assuming that he gets hurt. Now, one that he can't win or two that he can't win are the Calder, which is Rookie of the Year, and the Vezina Trophy. And one, now again with the Rookie of the Year, Connor Bedard is like a heavy favorite.
Yeah, I see that right now.
But if he were to get hurt and miss a significant amount of time, Devon Levi, the Sabres goalie, the people love to vote for a young hotshot goalie that plays well. Buffalo is an up-and-coming team. They just missed the playoffs by a point last year. They're gonna be a team that puts up a lot of goals, and Levi is supposed to be like the next big thing as a goalie. So if he plays well behind that Sabres team and Bedard gets hurt, Levi at plus 1,200 isn't a bad way to go. You know, Adam Fantilli will probably get a lot of points in Columbus. He's not starting on the top line, but he'll probably work his way up there. He gets there with Johnny Gaudreau. That's a good finisher to have on your line. Johnny Hockey. And then, you know, I mean, Leo Carlson's probably not in the running, not because he won't play well, but he's just not going to do the things that stand out to voters. So, you know, Bedard it's going to be Bedard's to lose, but Levi is a guy I could consider there.
Okay, very interesting. I'm looking at that right now. I may have to put a little bit of a sprinkle on that too as well. The Ducks, by the way, plus 1,200 to make the playoffs right now.
Here's the thing in the Pacific Division. So you got the defending champion Vegas Golden Knights. You got the Edmonton Oilers, who are very much a top team in the West. And then you have the Kings, who, you know, they are very much a team that could steal that division this year. The goaltending may not be ideal with the Talbot-Copley duo, but adding Pierre-Luc Dubois gives them a strong center, second line center. They're a team I think that could challenge for the division. So now you're talking about, can they get one of those wild card spots? Maybe, but Calgary are expecting to bounce back because it's going to be addition by subtraction with their head coach from last season being gone. Vancouver is not in the mix. San Jose is not in the mix. And then you go to the Central Division where you know Colorado and Dallas are going to be in, probably Minnesota in that 3 spot. So now that leaves the other wild card. That's where the Winnipegs of the world come in, Nashville's. If Anaheim absolutely played their best hockey, they could steal a wild card, but I would not count on it.
Plus 1,200, just a little bit of money though. It sounds, you know, just looking at
their over under was at 70.5, and I don't even know if I would bet the over on that. So just it goes to tell you where I feel about them.
Okay, you want to talk about Stanley Cup champions, Western Conference, Eastern winners?
We could. I'm ready to go divisions, conference, or champion. So let's. Where do you want to start?
I'll let you go. I had them just ready on the drop down here to go to and kind of talk with you. So you want to start? We're in the Pacific. We kind of talked about already. You just want to like clean that one up real quick before we go to the Central, and then we'll go from there.
So I mean, you really can't go wrong with Edmonton plus 200 or Vegas plus 300. But the Kings at plus 400, they were right there last year. They're a better team this year. So I mean, any one of those three teams could really take that division. So any way you want to go there, it's going to be one of those three. When you look at the Central, that's more of a two-dog race between Colorado and Dallas. I can't see Minnesota's a good team. They're a playoff team. I just don't see them really be competing with those two for the Central, and then everybody else, no way. In the Metro, it's also, I'm a Ranger fan, so I hate to say this, but it's really a two-dog fight for the division between Carolina and the Devils. The Devils had Timo Meier. They had a fantastic offseason. The only thing that could get in their way is maybe goaltending, and they were hoping to get Connor Hellebuck from Winnipeg, but that's not going to happen because he signed a 7-year deal today. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at the Atlantic Division, Toronto at plus 200 is the favorite. But if you're looking for more of a long shot, you can look at either of the Florida teams, because right now you can get Tampa plus 700 on PointsBet because they have no Vasilevsky for 2 months. So he should be, all I'm wishing for Christmas this year is Vasilevsky to be back for my fantasy teams. So he should be back in time for that. Santa should be able to deliver that. And you're still getting him for January, February, March, and your fantasy playoffs. So, and the real playoff run. So, and then you can look at Florida too at plus 500 because went all the way to the Stanley Cup last year and only really couldn't compete with Vegas because they were just so banged up. So, why they couldn't win a division after they won the President's Trophy the year before that? Got me.
But yeah, the Lightning's interesting because you talk about literally he's like the best goalie, if not one of the best goalies in hockey, right? So
top
2 months,
3, 4, 5, yeah.
And how many years ago when they won 2 Stanley Cups in a row for the Lightning, or like it's they still have the team. So I kind of at that plus 700, a little interested in that as well. Plus the Maple Leafs just always seem to blow it. I feel like every time they're a favorite on anything, and I don't know.
That's the thing. And last year, and a part of my cat wants to join. He's a big Panthers fan. He heard me talking about him.
He's a Brady Tkachuk fan, or
Matthew Brady's in Ottawa. Although I love Brady from a fantasy perspective, so I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those guys in banger leagues. But yeah, when the Toronto always finds a way. I mean, they're regular season juggernauts. From a fantasy perspective, from a better. They are going to get a lot of points, but they don't find a way to get it done in the playoffs. So see what happens with them this year. But, if they don't win the division, I'm looking at a Florida or a Tampa. Boston, it doesn't have Patrice Bergeron anymore, so expect that they're not going to get a record-setting 135 points again. Not a chance.
That was sad. Poor guys. I just felt so bad for them.
Well, I have to regress back from like 25 points over the next division leader. Oh, my God. How terrible. They've had tough times in Boston. They haven't won a lot of championships in all of the sports in the past.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I don't feel bad for them at all, trust me. I'm starting to feel a little bad for New York fans, though. I really am. But the Devils look really good this year, even though they're kind of New Jersey. But I'm liking that. By the way, it's crazy to see these teams that when I was a kid, and like when I really followed hockey when I was a kid, were bad. And now they're good. And the teams that were good are like bad. Like the Sharks are bad. The Blackhawks are bad. Like these are teams. The Flyers are bad. The Blues, the St. Louis Blues are bad. They used to be one of the best teams with Brett Hull. When I was a kid, like every year, it's like just how it's good to see a sport where it actually rotates more than the other sports. So that's kind of like why I'm kind of liking this a lot too.
I mean, the NHL has definitely gotten it right over the last 15 years. And yeah, like you said, it's cyclical. I mean, like you said, the Devils are the only thing. It's tough for me to talk positively about the Devils as a Ranger fan, but if it wasn't for that, oh my, they are going to be a fun team to watch this year. They have probably the third best top 6 forward group in the league behind Toronto and Edmonton. They're going to be a fun team to watch. They're gonna make noise this year. There's a lot of reasons to like them, except if you're a Ranger or a Flyer fan. But
well, I don't like the Sharks, so there you go.
It's fine.
Obviously, you
don't have to worry about them this year.
As an Anaheim fan who lives closer to the Bay Area. But yeah. Okay, let's move on to speaking of the Sharks, Western Conference. The odds to go to the Stanley Cup to win the Western Conference. Avalanche are the favorites, obviously. Golden Knights are not, but Avalanche were the favorites last year as well going into it. Who do you have here as obviously Avalanche and Golden Knights, but is any one of these other teams here a sleeper maybe to jump in to win the West?
I think they're probably a little bit too high to be called a sleeper, but Dallas this year at plus 800, I saw on PointsBet for the Western Conference, because you got to keep the playoff structure in mind. So you got to go through your division before you get to the conference. Both Colorado and Dallas are probably going to have very easy first round matchups. So it's going to basically, if Dallas can survive that Colorado matchup in the second round, they're going to get whoever survives the Pacific bracket. So you're going to have Edmonton, Vegas, and the Kings. Two of them have to play each other in the first round. And then whoever survives that's going to get the other team. That's going to be a battle. So you're going to get maybe a team that's banged up a little bit. And not to say Vegas can't repeat, Jack Eichel full season. There's going to be there's so many reasons to like Vegas, but hey, they play a lot of hockey in the playoffs. Sometimes that can have a hangover effect. Maybe not after 1 year, but they have been in the playoffs all but one season. So we'll see where that goes. So
best expansion team of all time.
Yeah, but I'm not to say it was handed to them, but the GMs didn't know how to. They were clueless on how to handle the whole thing, the way the protection worked, and they were basically giving teams picks like, hey, if you take this contract off our books, we'll trade you this guy for some BS pick, or please don't take this guy and we'll give you this guy instead. I mean, the Florida Panthers gave Vegas 2/3 of their top line that first year, Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault. So, Riley Smith got traded to Pittsburgh in the offseason, but when you look at when Nashville came into the league, Minnesota, San Jose, they were getting sixth line guys. They weren't even getting fourth line guys.
Who was the Anaheim Ducks guy who won the Stanley Cup with he was really good for the Ducks and somehow ended up on Vegas and won last year. And I'm going, what the heck?
Oh, Shea Theodore?
Yeah, Shea Theodore. Come on, man. Can use him right now. Jeez. Anyways, let's move on to
Dallas in the West. That's my would probably
Dallas
be my
in the West. But do you have them winning, or do you say it's going to be Vegas or Avalanche?
Colorado is just such a juggernaut. But Dallas has a good mix. They're built for the playoffs. They're 1 through 4. They have a decent blue line. They have one of the best goalies in the league. So I can see Dallas, emerging here for sure.
Okay. Let's move on to the East before we give our Stanley Cup predictions. Mine will be off the rails because that's what I do. But yours, by the way, people, when you watch this, or if you watch this now, take his bets, not mine. I'm learning off of him. We're just having some fun here. Obviously, the Hurricanes are the favorite. Maple Leafs, the Devils, then the Rangers, Bruins, Lightning, Panthers, plus 1,000 here. I'm seeing
on Caesars
East. God, I'm seeing that's the best odds. Oh wait, no, there's DK's plus 850. There it is. That's the best.
Florida is one of those on my list for the reasons I talked about before. They went all the way to the Stanley Cup last year, and they just got decimated with injuries along the way. And don't get me wrong, they did benefit from Sergei Bobrovsky in that Eastern Conference Finals. Carolina they could not get anything by him, so that helps. But they got that far. I think they could do it again. They could come out of the West at East, at plus 1,000. I do think this is Carolina's year to come out of the East. I thought they were going to do it all last year. I think this year is the year they do punch through, at least to get to the Stanley Cup. I know they're plus 500. That's not as good as some other ones. If you're looking for more of a long shot, Pittsburgh at plus 1,500. They trade for, and listen, I understand Erik Karlsson's not going to have the season he had in San Jose last year. They don't need him to. They have Chris Letang there. So they're going to split those. They're going to make sure those guys have balanced minutes and are fresh for the playoffs. They're not going to trot either one of them out there 27 minutes a night. They made the right, they made the moves that championship teams make with the players they added around them, the Riley Smiths of the world and things like that. They're really gearing up to try and get the Crosby, Malkin, Letang trio one more legitimate chance at a cup. So this is a year that I can see Pittsburgh maybe not winning the division, but getting hot at the right time in the playoffs.
That Penguins team reminds me of where the Clippers are at right now. It's the last hurrah. This is the last year of this window to make a run before it's just all over, right? With Crosby and so I like that pick actually. So the favorite to win the Stanley Cup currently, best odds, is actually the Hurricanes, followed by the Avalanche, and then the Devils, Oilers, Maple Leafs, Golden Knights, and this is based off consensus average. Well, first, let's say, we know your sleeper team. Who wins the Stanley Cup this year, and who's a sleeper team that you would put money on to win it as well at better odds from what we talked about?
So my long shot, for all the reasons I just said about the Penguins at plus 3,500, that is one. Like I said, if you're buying into that storyline, and there are people out there that go the opposite way of me. They're like, nope, they're old. They're going to be broken down. All they had to do was beat one of the two worst. They had the two worst teams in the league the last 2 games of the year. They had to win one of those games to get in the playoffs, and they couldn't do it. And they got embarrassed in one of them. So yes, the age can show it, but I just think that this has got all the signs for like that third, movie in a trilogy that they're bringing him back for one more. You know what I mean? It's just so that would be my long shot. Dallas, if they get out of the West, plus 1,700, that's another one I would look at. I do think this is Carolina's year. So I mean, they are the favorite. I would pick Carolina, but or I'd say Carolina if I got to pick a team out of the West. Dallas, long shot the Penguins.
All right. Here's my prediction. You're going to hate this.
All right.
Well, you're going to hate the Oilers over the Devils.
That would be a very fun series to watch. Mm-hmm. You just made Northern Alberta very happy with that prediction. And, Edmonton's kind of Toronto of the West of their regular season juggernauts. They're going to dominate. They're going to score all the goals in the world, and they're going to win a lot of games, but they find a way to lose in the playoffs. And, we'll see what happens this year. Maybe, the best thing that could happen to Edmonton is they win the division. Vegas and LA get to go beat up on each other in the first round, and Edmonton gets a wild card team. That's your path right there. If that happens, if they got to play the Kings or the Knights in a 7-game series, I don't know.
Be rough. Yeah, physical. I'm going with it. I'm saying the best player in hockey wins a Stanley Cup this year. Boom.
That's literally the only thing missing from his resume. I'll put it to you like this. We were talking dynasty drafts earlier. He's 26 years old, and he's still the first pick in a dynasty draft. Not Connor Bedard. He is still, and there's not many other sports.
Oh, yeah. He's putting up crazy stats, like points.
And you're going to get this out of him for another 10 years. So, Connor, he's got, I'll put it to you like this. Alex Ovechkin has 3 Hart trophies, and he's 38, 39. Connor McDavid is 26 and has 3 Hart trophies.
That's insane.
There we go. That's why I said it's not worth talking about the Hart trophy, because unless he suffers a significant injury, he's probably not going to lose it.
Yeah. How many points did he get last year? Total? It was a lot, right?
Yeah.
Overset. It was something stupid, just out of this world. Well,
it was 153 points, 64 goals, and 89 assists.
That's stupid. He averaged more than 1 assist a game. It's
that's EA Sports NHL numbers is what that is.
Yeah, that's my career on easy. All right, Adam, and you do NHL DFS too?
We're gonna be we're gonna Better Hockey Now, which is the weekly podcast. We're gonna start doing some DFS coverage weekly on Tuesdays starting next week. Tuesday's a good day of the week. It's a heavy NHL slate. You don't have the football is king. Monday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll be starting that up not tomorrow, but the next week. So happy opening season tomorrow night, and I guess the over in Penguins Blackhawks, and you want to feel spicy, cracking on the money line.
There you go. And go Ducks. And go Finland.
Yeah, go Finland. Slash, baby. Teemu Solani. We love him.
We love Teemu here. We love Teemu Solani. By the way, I met him once. He's actually a really nice guy.
So have I. And I used to work with a guy who used to work with the Ducks, and he's beyond one of the nicest humans on the planet. So.
Yeah, he's incredible. So, but Ryan Getzlaff is also a really nice guy, but I just grew up watching him play more than I did.
And, if you get to play professional sports in, Orange County for, 15 to 20 years, that's, that'll also make you a nice guy too.
You get to play a winter sport in Orange County for your entire career.
that'll make everything else seem not so bad.
100%. All right, man. At Pucky Thoughts, or all your NHL knowledge that you want, get it with me. Come bet. Join Adam and Better Hockey Now on the Better Sports Network on YouTube. And, of course, Anthony's in there a lot as well. Anthony Rivera. And isn't Chris from Fantasy Alarm joining you guys?
Chris Ramirez as well, yeah.
So make sure you guys check all that out. Get your DFS lineups in now. It's going to be fun. I'm going to try that out. I'm going to have some fun with that. And, of course, betting and fantasy knowledge, too. And we're starting that Dynasty League next year, my friend. Guaranteed.
Yes.
On the board.
We're getting it going for sure. Thank you for having me, Ed. It's always a pleasure.
Of course. And enjoy the hockey season, my friend. It's time for you to celebrate. It's finally here. All right, brother. We'll talk soon.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even give myself a beer. Dang it. I love that guy. He's a lot of fun. And full of hockey knowledge. If you didn't notice, I love having him on the show, and we'll have him on again talking hockey as it comes up. Maybe do a little DFS fun with him and some betting notes. I'm gonna already got my bets on some of those he said written down. I'm gonna play them out as we go. But we gotta take a quick break. Josh Jacobs touchdown. The Raiders now lead, going back and forth in this low-scoring game, 17-13. The Packers now have the ball and driving. It's going to come to the wire with 14-13 left. We'll talk about that and a what say ye, Heavy T, a quick eulogy. We'll save the eulogy for the end. We'll do Case of the Mondays and then the eulogy. A quick Case of the Mondays, then the eulogy for fadeaway threes. And Justin Jefferson hitting the waiver wire in our Guillotine League. It's going to be insane. Heavy T, what say ye after the break? Boom.
Jake Ferguson, I think, is going to be one of the biggest frauds in fantasy, to be honest. I'm trading Jake Ferguson in Dynasty for anything right now. I'm trading him in redraft if somebody will take him. He scored the touchdown on a 1-yard play this week, but this guy, last week, he played 75% of the snaps, only ran 50% of the routes. This week, we were hoping that would change. He only ran 21 of 43. Not even half again. So we were hoping it would improve from 50, worse than 50. So Jake Ferguson, not the guy we want. And you saw it. I mean, if you watch the game, they weren't locked in on anybody. They had Hayden Hendershot out there, got a goal line carry. Luke Schoonmaker, the rookie, scored a touchdown. Like, they are not committed to just one tight end. And if you have CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks and Tony Pollard, if the tight end isn't playing every single snap, then he's not relevant. I mean, even if the one guy was playing every snap, you're not going to get a Dalton Schultz because there was no Brandon Cooks last year, and Michael Gallup was coming off an ACL. So the conditions changed, and now this guy's playing a partial snap share. Sell Jake Ferguson now. And people tell me, oh, Dak Prescott loves throwing to the tight end. That's not even true. There was a guy on Reddit that just posted a study. His name is, like, I Call Cats or something like that. Great study, though, that showed that Dak Prescott doesn't target the tight end on an above average level. I mean, CeeDee Lamb got 156 targets last year. 156. And Michael Gallup and Noah Brown combined for 150. So, and the running backs combined for 85. So what is it? Does he love the tight end, but he also loves CeeDee Lamb, and he also loves the other wide receivers, and he also loves the running backs? Or just Kellen Moore just throw the ball a ton? That's what it was, right? So it's like this whole he loves the tight end situation, that's not even true. Right? Or he just loves everybody. Maybe he does love the tight end, but clearly he loves CeeDee Lamb. No? Like, clearly he loves the running backs. So just don't worry about it. Forget about it. Trade Jake Ferguson for whatever you can get right now.
What is going on, everybody? On air with me now, as always, Tyler Heavy T Soto joining the show, which means one thing. What say ye, Heavy T? You on mute?
Hold on. That's what happens when you don't change your settings fast enough.
Oh
no. Okay, hold on. There we go. Slightly. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Okay. Well, we'll get Heavy T on here shortly.
We'll fix that in a second.
Yeah, we'll fix it. I could hear him, but I don't think you can. But it's okay. It's okay.
Oh no. If you can hear me, then everybody else should be able to.
I don't hear you through my headphones. I hear you through my speakers.
Oh, that might be a you issue then. if you're hearing me through your speakers, that's a you issue. That's not a me issue.
Yeah, it's not good. What he did say though, everyone out there, is that he loves pickles more than anything, and
I did not say that.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Did not say that. But I will say this. We just played that timeout from our boy Andrew Cooper about trading Jake Ferguson. Yeah, after last night, you should probably do that. You should not have any Cowboys probably on your fantasy team, because last night was awful. That was. Yeah.
I got killed with Tony Pollard. I needed him to at least do something to have some, and I lost a league because of it. And he was like my first round pick, so that was bad. Yeah, last night was pathetic. And there is a Case of the Mondays shout out to Mike McCarthy later.
Of course, because Mike McCarthy sucks. Like I honestly, if there's one longer tenured head coach that I consider a fraud,
Oh my
in the
God,
NFL, it's definitely Mike McCarthy. He
it has
sucks.
it has to be him, right?
Yeah, and it's not even a me hating Dallas thing. I wasn't even his biggest fan like those last years in Green Bay. I was just like, this guy's got to go.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. More on that later. But yeah, no, that was a really terrible game last night. Like it was not fun to watch, especially if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan.
And Jordan Love threw another pick.
No way. A
He
third
just
pick,
did
right?
now.
That'd be his third or
Yeah,
second?
I believe third.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Man.
so it's he's not having a good night. We'll just leave it at that. He's not. having a
AJ
good
Dillon
night.
though, 20 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. And AJ Dillon, no catches, which is fair. Christian Watson finally caught another pass, so he's 2 for 83. Dobbs finally caught a pass. He spread the ball around a little bit, but just not enough. And they just been trying to run Dillon down at the Raiders' throats. It's worked for the most part, but that pass game doesn't get going, and they don't stop him here. It's looking like Green Bay is going to go out into the Las Vegas night with a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, it's pretty bad because I have a buddy who is a big Dodgers fan and a diehard Packers fan. Now the Dodgers are losing 3-1 in their game right now, and Jordan Love is not the answer. And the Packers losing Monday Night Football. He is in hell right now, I'm sure. So he's just not having a good night overall. And trust me, I know very well. It's one thing if one of your teams loses, but if both of them lose on the same night, geez Louise, man. Thoughts and prayers to you and your family.
Yeah, good luck getting up for work tomorrow morning. That's all I got to say.
Oh no, I'm drinking myself to sleep.
Well, I know you didn't drink yourself to sleep yesterday. I have to ask about Bijan Robinson's NBA 2K move he did.
Look,
that was insane.
Phenomenal. He is him. I am him. He is my king. He is my running back. I'm already prepping the gold jacket in the Hall of Fame speech, dude.
Oh my God.
He is the guy. He is our guy. He is my champion. Okay. Easiest way to say it. He is my champion.
So I looked up how to do that move on NBA 2K. So first you got to press X to ask for the ball. So they pass to you.
Yes.
And then you got to right stick right twice. And then you got to press R2 for the turbo. And you can do that move in NBA 2K. So there it is, everyone. If you're playing PS5, now you know how to do the Bijan Robinson move in NBA. That's fun. I know you're going to try that later. Don't lie. All right. Speaking of football, I have to ask you about this. Today, we were talking about this actually as we were getting ready for the show. And I said, let's save that for later because I kind of want to ask you, but I can see my thoughts too. What say ye, Heavy T? New sports were added to the Olympics today. You want to break those down for us and save the one that I hate for last.
So I'm going to do this off memory because it was only like 5 sports, but for 2028. So keep in mind, this is not next year in Paris. This is 2028 when it comes to LA.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is coming back, which I believe it was in the most recent Olympics.
Yes, it was.
Softball is coming back, which I believe was also in the most recent Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of new sports. Flag football, which is interesting.
Stupid.
Cricket, which I'm actually okay with because that's
I'm surprised cricket's not already in there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like I'm actually really surprised that cricket hasn't been in there because then you got like all those Middle Eastern countries that are really, really into cricket.
Yeah, they're going to win the gold.
Much more than baseball.
India's going to win the gold medal in cricket.
I think it's like India, and I think Pakistan also has like a really, really good team. Yeah. So you have cricket, squash, which I thought was interesting. I know nothing about it, but hey, I'll learn. And then the last one
is that a sport where they just pull things on a table and everyone goes bah, squashes it down?
I wish. In that case, I may be a gold medalist. I'm not.
I can see you being good at that. Especially if they put a pickle down there. You just be like, nope, get that thing out of my back.
Send that thing to hell, dude. That's exactly what I'm doing. That.
Straight down.
So, squash is in there, and then the last one, which I think is interesting. I don't know if anybody else around the world really plays it, but I'm interested to see what can happen. Lacrosse.
Oh.
It's grown. That's a good one.
It's grown, especially here. There's actually a national lacrosse league here that's played on like ESPN the Ocho.
Yeah, it's been there for a little bit. I know the guys over at Barstool have ownership in one of the teams. Mm-hmm. I think it's the Water Dogs. But lacrosse. I do occasionally watch it when it's that college lacrosse tournament. I think it's in like March. And that thing's competitive, man.
No, it's
so
crazy.
If you so like you watch guys play, especially during the Summer Olympics. You watch them play handball. You watch them play water polo. I mean, lacrosse is both of those with sticks. So I'm down for it. It looks like it'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I actually always wanted to kind of try that. And I'm kind of interested in this pickleball thing. No offense,
Pickleball's just like
no offense to you, but-
pickleball is just tennis with smaller paddles. That's all it is.
and smaller court, so you have to run around as much. I kind of like that idea too.
Yeah, I guess. So
Oh, what I hate about this the most is the fact that flag football is an American. It's going to be an Olympic sport, right? Flag football. First of all, if you give the American football players a chance to play for the USA flag football team, they're going to dominate because they don't have to worry about tackling. So you tell me what, like you said earlier too, put Tyreek Hill, Devin Achad.
Okay. So I said that jokingly, but okay. To be fair, number one, there's no way that those dudes are going to play because it's going to be in the middle of training camp, so they're not going to play.
Yeah,
I mean, you could get,
but still college guys. College guys.
Well, you can get college guys and XFL guys, but then you also have these other teams that could grab dudes from like the Pacific Islands and stuff like, because you have like all the Samoan dudes that come in and play in the NFL. Like those dudes can play. So it might be, I don't know, man. You could maybe get a couple Canadians in there. And as if we see, there's been some international dudes play in the league. I'm not going to necessarily give it all to the U.S. right away. I mean, we'll see what happens, because here's the other thing too. It is flag. You just need speed and someone who could throw the ball and someone who's a little bit of elusive. And you know what? A lot of countries already have that. So who's to say, man? Who's to really say?
It's going to be a
you
lot
telling
of fun.
me that you telling me that the Australians don't have a chance? I've seen the way they play rugby. Okay, they can be a little elusive sometimes.
They don't know how to. They can't throw the ball forward.
Okay,
it's illegal.
That's why you practice moves, dude. That's why you get this.
Here's what's going to happen. In 2028, the United States flag football team is going to take the gold, led by Trey Lance.
That's really sad. That actually makes me very sad. Like, really depressing. But like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these other teams. You never know, man.
You can see it happening though.
You never
That's
know.
What's crazy.
Yeah, I can unfortunately see it happening. My God.
So why not do tackle football? I just saying the sport is football. Tackling to do flag is kind of like, it's like
I'm down with non-tackle football because I'm not trying to get one of these, because you got to remember the Olympics are all amateur dudes. I'm not trying to kill some Russian post office worker because he's an amateur. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to kill somebody out there.
Let's not offend anybody. A lot of the team sports are amateurs from America, because we have professional sports going on. But the track meet, or the track and the swimming, they're all professional, top of their game where they are. But the teams USA puts out there for the team sports are normally college kids, like the hockey team or the baseball team and anything. So, let's not.
So it's Team USA basketball, and we just wiping the floor with everything. But that's the other thing too, is that the USA isn't even the ultimate domination at basketball anymore.
That's
all
true.
Those European teams got really, really, really good. So especially Spain, France, Australia's kind of creeped up there a little bit. I'm trying to remember who the U.S. just most recently lost to. I want to say it was maybe Greece, something like that. Like, dude, you got some teams out there. You know Giannis is going to be playing for Team Greece. Him and his 15 brothers out there, they're going to be playing for Team Greece. So, no, man, I like a little diversity in the Olympics. And the cool thing is it is going to be in L.A., and assuming I'm still here in L.A., I'm going to go to as much as I can. So, yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man. It's going to be fun.
You know what? I've always wanted to go to the Olympics. I think I'll have to hit you up on that and come down or visit you and go have some fun.
Yeah, you'd only be about 4 hours away in Fresno. Like, you wouldn't be that far.
Yeah.
Just come here, maybe make a weekend out of it.
Yeah, I know, a lot of fun. I want to check out the I'm not like the swimming or whatever, no, but I'm really into like the track, like seeing like the 4x4. I used to run track and stuff, like the relay stuff that they don't show on television. That's like the 100 meter and all that stuff. Like, I want to see
the swimming. I thought would be cool, but my dad is incredibly into track, and I actually would really like to go with him because my dad went to the last Olympics that were in LA, which was in '84. Yeah, so it'd be cool.
I wasn't even born yet.
Go. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, you definitely were not born yet.
Yeah, my parents. I don't even think my parents had met yet at that point, which is kind of wild to think about. But yeah, so that it'll be fun, man. It's only 5 years. Hard to believe it's already 5 years away.
And the way this year's gone, that's going to be a snap of the finger, a wink of the eye. And
this year has flown. I honestly cannot believe we're already in week 5 of the NFL. Like, that first month is flown by.
we just finished we're almost about to finish week 5. Like it's over.
I'm trying to savor the moment, man. Trying to savor these last 7 minutes of Monday Night Football right here.
We've already had 5 people eliminated from the Guillotine League. We're down to 13. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Which, by the way, I already have that eulogy prepped and ready to go, so that should be a good one.
Poor fadeaway threes. I had so much hope in him.
I did not, but it's okay. I only have hope in my team.
So another thing I want to ask you about, we talked about baseball and MLB and how every team really swept. Only best out of 3 though in the wild card. And a lot of people have been complaining or talking about how the buys in baseball, if it's relevant, if it's not relevant, it could be a long wait, right? When you're used to having 1 day off, between 5-6 games all year, and then you got to sit out for a week. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't.
Especially as we see the Braves lose game 1, the Dodgers losing. It's maybe showing the Orioles.
I'm personally fine with it. I think my thing is that I just want the wild card games to be competitive, and they're not. I can't remember when they started doing the wild card games. I know for a fact they did it for COVID. That's when it started. And I want to say they went back to the normal way for 2021, and then they brought the wild card series back last year. And since last year, there's 4 every year. So there's been 8 wild card series. 7 of the 8 have been sweeps. And I'm sorry, that's just not interesting to me. I'd rather go back to the 1 game
the
do or die thing.
Were the only one that went to 3.
I think it was Padres and Mets that went to 3. All the other ones were sweeps. And no, I'm here for the 1 game do or die. Just when you have those 2 wild card teams and one's got to win, those are fun, man. That's what October baseball is. It's the do or die thing. I'd much rather them go back to that. And it's not even because I want these dudes like, oh, they need to have like a shorter break because these hot teams that get the buys get cold. You know who else does that? NFL teams. They get a whole week off and they still prep and they're fine. So figure it out. That's a you problem. But I prefer the more excitement with just the 1 game do or die. I think it's more fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. But in the NFL, they also have during the season, they have a week where they have a bye week where they have 2 weeks off. So they've done it before. Having a week off after playing 100 whatever games, it's just like your rhythm, and everything is so about rhythm in baseball, right? Being hot at the right time, and
I mean it is, but you know what? You get a week off in the middle of the week with the All-Star break, so stop complaining. Just get out there and go.
I think it should be like basketball. Just have them all start at the same time, like all of them. If you have one, add 2 more teams. If you have one, play 8. And just have them all play. Just have them all play, starting from the beginning, and see what happens.
Yeah, we'd have to figure out how they're going to do it, but I mean that's not a terrible idea either. I mean, what we could do
every once in a while,
I mean, here's an idea. So what we could do is, the same day as the 1 day wild card, start one of the division series where the team didn't have a bye. So in this case, it would have been. Let me think. It would have been. Let's just say Toronto, Minnesota start their division series right there, and then the 2 other, like the last place wild card teams, the 2nd and the 3rd seed, they battle it out to see who's going to play.
No, that'd be great.
As an example.
That's also that's a good idea.
Yeah, too. I'm fine with that. I think that's more fun. I'm also slightly stressing out because someone is using my ESPN account. It keeps kicking me off. It's very, very stressful. No, like
stop giving that thing out on air, Heavy T.
Well, I'm not giving it out on air. But the problem is that I have so many people in my family. I know at least one of my 50 brothers is using it, so I'm trying to watch it in the middle of the show. But it is what it is. So, but yeah, I mean, just the like I said, the do or die is just more fun, man. It's just a better way to go.
Yep, I kind of like that too. I kind of agree. Although my Padres don't have a good history with do or die,
like I said,
Matt Holliday was not safe. Matt Holliday was not safe.
Okay, I will give you that.
Fans.
I will give you that. He was definitely not safe. I still remember that. I'm like, he never touched the plate, not even one. Didn't even go back to make sure he touched it, so you could be like, oh, okay, well at least he touched it. Never touched the plate once. Umpire totally screwed that up.
Yeah. It took you a 22-game winning streak to do that, not touch home plate, and then sweep your way to the playoffs to get swept. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and then on top of that, dude, here's the other thing: is that Trevor, you might get mad at me at this. Trevor Hoffman is the original Clayton Kershaw. And I say that where this dude was always just lights out in the regular season. Great closer, second greatest closer behind Mariano Rivera. And whenever I saw this dude in a big game, oh my God, he would melt down every single time in a big game. Just Trevor Hoffman.
Well, the problem is the Padres were only in like 3 big games. So
again, a you problem. Also, the Diamondbacks just took expanded on their lead a little bit. Solo home run by Gurriel Jr. So 4-1 Arizona.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Wow. Dodgers are in trouble. And Orioles are in trouble. The Orioles are in trouble. The bye weeks are real, man. Is Houston, wait, they're 1-1, right?
Houston's 1-1. So the Orioles are really young. I think it's just playoff inexperience. The Dodgers, on the other hand, I usually blame Dave Roberts because Dave Roberts is usually pretty bad at postseason managerial stuff. This is the 1 year I will not blame him because that pitching staff is held together by duct tape and big league chew. Like that thing is just abysmal, and it's not Roberts' fault. I can't, but the offense can be as hot as they want, but the pitching is just not there. Look, 3 of the starters at the beginning of the year, Bueller, May, Urias, one decided to beat up a woman in public, so he's gone forever.
Again.
Like literally, again. So he's literally gone forever. And then the other 2 both had Tommy John. Yeah. So I mean, what can you do? It got to the point where
Dustin
I believe
May's had 2 Tommy Johns now, right?
Yeah, which sucks because I actually really like Dustin May. But it's gotten to the point where
baseball's carrot top.
Yeah, at one point during the regular season, the AAA team, I believe it was, didn't have enough pitchers. And so for the 9th inning, they had to bring in someone from, one of the players to just close the game because they didn't have anybody else. The Dodgers were calling up people so fast because of all the injuries. So it's just, man, like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, man. This is going to be the 2nd year in a row where they get bounced by an NL West rival.
And the Diamondbacks. Okay, anyways. Speaking of winning and losing, you know who really lost yesterday? Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy.
Sure.
They got embarrassed. They got absolutely embarrassed. They got embarrassed. He's play calling. Shanahan's play calling now. Mike McCarthy's being the play caller because they let Kellen Moore go to the Chargers, who have one of the top offenses in the NFL, and the offense was terrible. I would have run the ball more. Mike McCarthy looked lost on the sideline the entire day. They got absolutely outclassed. I don't think this Cowboys team can beat the 49ers. I don't think they could beat, obviously, not the Eagles, the Lions. And I don't even think, there's some other teams you could probably throw in there now as well and say they couldn't even beat them. Maybe the Seahawks they'd have trouble with. I'm going to go ahead and say they're not as good as we thought they were. And Mike McCarthy, well, I'm going to tell you what.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mundu.
I'm just going to say this and real quick. Bryce Young and Miles Sanders, that's the worst team in baseball. Football. You got me. I'm trying to segue. I'm trying to segue sports, and I threw it all off. Anyways, they're on point for the number 1 pick. However, that pick belongs to the Chicago Bears, so they're stuck with this for a while, and they need a lot to happen quick there. But as I predicted, would be the worst team in football. Looks like the worst team in football. And again, the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mundus.
Waiting for that to end so I can say this. Denver Broncos. Enough said.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mundus.
The Baltimore Ravens pass catchers. 7 drop passes. They were wide open, just dropping passes like crazy. It was embarrassing. Lamar Jackson kind of did throw the game at the end, but losing to Pittsburgh when they should be the taste, the tea, if you would, of that AFC North, but they're not. And now it's a fair game again. But all of the receivers for Baltimore, oh, man.
Uh-oh.
7.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mundus.
Last but not least, before a quick eulogy, Taylor Swift fans in Minnesota. Wow. All the videos. Swiftie. People, Vikings fans had Swifties jerseys on. Kelsey plays for the other teams, you idiots. Ugh. She wasn't there, and you lost.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mundus.
Speaking of lost.
Way to alienate the new Swiftie fan base by calling them idiots live on air.
It took
make
me
sure to
1
clip.
week.
Yeah, make sure to clip that and send it to throughout the Twitter airwaves.
Just the Minnesotan ones.
Yeah, just the Minnesotan ones. Jeez. I mean, at least they put Swiftie 87, which I believe is the year she was born because she has that album 1987.
But she's not Janet Hawkinson.
or maybe it was 1989. Oh, maybe they screwed that up. Oh, crap. I got to double check it. Anyways, the eulogy. Yes, unfortunately, we do have a team we have to lay to rest, much like the Cowboys, because they're going 0-3 the next 3 games. Real quick note on that. The next 3 games, they play the Chargers, Rams, and Eagles. 0-3, baby. Yeah, that is a rough stretch. But, yeah, no, just like the Cowboy season, we are here to lay to rest. A team in the Guillotine League. Without further ado, here we go. We are gathered here today to lay to rest the team known as Fadeaway Threes. They thought they were Steph Curry, but they shot like Nick Young. Very sad. We say goodbye and farewell to players such as Lamar I Have to Do Everything Jackson, Justin Fast AF Boy Jefferson, Mark I Wish I Was the One Dating Taylor Swift Andrews, and Chris Godwin and Josh Reynolds, who you may have forgot also play, but they are buried behind their number 1 receiver, much like this team is buried into the ground. May we also reminisce on players that may not be picked up on off waivers, such as Matt Saquon is coming back Breida, Cortland sous chef to Russ Sutton, and Wendell Robinson, who I didn't have a nickname for because Wendell is already a funny name. To be honest, it's a miracle this team made it this long. Kind of like my enemies. I just hate it. May you all find homes and rest in peace. Amen.
Man. Shout out to Fadeaway Threes as he goes out into the sunset. Thanks for playing, my friend. A lot of fun. I need to find a good button for that, but thanks for playing, man. It's been a lot of fun. You were fun. Thanks for having along, and that's a lot of good players going to the waiver, and a lot of fab already spent. It's going to be interesting. So there you go. Well, there it is. From myself, from my boy here, Heavy T, who will be wearing a pickle outfit, not to suit away on this show after losing the Red River rivalry bet and more. Thomas Stevens, shout out to Adam Bernard for talking hockey. That was a lot of fun. I'm excited about this year as well, but not for the Kings. From me, everyone at the Better Sports Network, at Better Network, and all your favorite social media platforms. Like I said, Heavy T, Thomas Stevens, Adam Bernard. We'll see you next week, my fellow ranters. As always, shout out to Taj McGowan. Boom.